Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, it's Nauman Shakir Khan here, your mathematics teacher, and it is your lesson number 3. And the topic of today's lesson is again solution of quadratic equations by factorization method. It's the continuation of the previous lesson, so it's titled as the part 2. You can see I have written here two examples which are apparently same, but there is a difference in the sign of the last term. Here it is -6 in the second one and the +6 in the first one. Other components with signs are same in both the equations. Basically, want to clear if the signs of any of the term is changed in an equation, what happens to the factors? Obviously they will be changed. What sort of change is occurred, we can observe now. First of all, we multiply the coefficients of the first and last term, that is coefficient of x square, and the constant term 6 is 6. Then we find the factors of 6, the pairs of the factors which are multiplied to 6. One is 1 and 6 and the other one is 2 and 3. As I've told you in the previous lesson, what we have to do is to look at the sign of the last term, that is +6. If you want to break the 5 into terms, you have to choose the pair which is when added, and the answer is 5. And from these two factors it is 2 and 3. So for the first question we will pick this pair 2 and 3, and the answer is x square plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. For the signs allocation, it is again mentioned and taught you you can learn from the previous lesson, that is the sign of the middle term will be put with the greater term in the next equation, and the sign of the product of the first and the last term, second and the last term, the plus plus plus, it will be put with the lower equation. Then we have to take common from the first two terms and then the second two terms, and find what new terms and factors we get. When we take common from the first two terms, it's x, and the remainings are x and 3, so the terms factors are x and x plus 3. Similarly, for the second pair, that is the last two terms, 2x plus 6, we get 2 as common and x and 3 are remaining, so the factors are 2 into x plus 3. Then we take common this factor, that is x plus 3, and the other factor will be x plus 2 in this way. Then we split the equation into two separate equations. X plus 3 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. Taking the probability of this equation is true, we get x equals -3, and for the second equation x equals -2. Now coming to the other side, the other equation, the second question, we need the pair which is when subtracted, then the answer is 5, not added. And from these two pairs it is this one, 6 minus 1 equals 5, and the product is 6 as it was already the pair of its prime factors. Now you have to write the new equation for this one, which is splitting 5 into two factors, that is 6x and -1x. For sign allocation, you can again check that the positive sign of the middle term will be allotted to the greater term, and then the product of the first and the last sign, that is the sign of the second term and the last term, plus 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 minus minus. The minus sign will be allotted to the lower term. Now take common from the first two terms. It is x is being taken common, and the remaining are x and 6. For the next one, it's minus 1. As there is nothing common, so we take 1 as a common number, because 1 is the factor of every number and every expression. Now after taking 1 common, we see no change in the coefficients and the terms inside the bracket, but their signs, because negative sign was taken common, so it will change the signs of the inner terms. Now again we get x plus 6 as common, and x minus 1 is as the second factor and is equal to 0. Then we split the equation into two separate equations, that is plus 6 equals 0 or x minus 1 equals 0. Then taking the first equation to be true, we get x equals minus 6, and taking the second equation to be true, we get x equals 1. This was the difference of factors basically told in the second step of each questions, which was very necessary to be clear, because most of you make this sort of mistakes in solving the questions. Now there is an assignment for you to practice, and you have to solve these questions, and you have to submit in your WhatsApp group in your grade section. Question is to solve the following equations, and the equations are 4x square minus 17x plus 15 and 4x square minus 17x minus 15 is equal. For these two equations, you have to solve them and send the solution to the respective teacher of your grade or your section. I have given some hint for you. Let us see. First of all, we have to find the product of first and the last term, that is 4 and 15 will be 60. Then we have to find the factors of 60, which are when added to 17, and for the second one added to minus 17, and the pairs, the factors are given. Now it's your turn to solve the question, and you have to submit your answer scripts, the solutions, to your class teacher, your subject teacher of your respective section, and that's all. Thank you very much for watching this video. Our next lesson will be the solution of quadratic equations using completing square method. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.